Welcome back to the ESL Pro League Season 22 qualifiers. We've got the European qualifiers continuing. Now we've got NAVI Junior, or once upon a time NAVI Junior, going up against Alliance. I'm T-Time, joined by Michael, Yumi, Cassidy, as we look to see what Inferno has in store.
Yep, Inferno picked by Alliance coming into this series. NAVI Junior having Dust2, and Ancient will be our decider. So that's the veto as we jump straight into the affair. Nice opener in for Mathios, who is the new addition to this NAVI Junior core. Fine with Demon. They're finding advantages, and Juga's able to continue that aggression. Alliance are getting picked to pieces. No bomb in their possession either now.
Aaron Avid just looking for whatever they can find in terms of consolation. And it doesn't feel like there's much consolation over here at all. NAVI Junior, of course, formerly NAVI Junior, of course, coming towards one of the hottest team of prospects ever since Mouse NXT, I would dare to say, maybe even considered better. They have, of course, lost out one of their players who has been recently promoted up to the Nada Sensei main team. Makaze, goodbye. Mathios, hello.
Yeah, I mean, Mikaze getting the promotion actually felt fairly logical with the way that things were kind of going for Na'Vi and the changes that they were likely to make. And it did seem like Na'Vi were actually interested in selling the Na'Vi Junior squad, but the fact that they've had separation now is actually kind of nice for the players, given that they hold this ranking and they want to be able to compete at events and actually have these chances to qualify to events without getting snubbed for the fact that they're a part of an organization that is more than likely going to frequent the VRS invites.
Yeah. It feels like a freeing of sorts.
Yes.
Look, considering that, you know, when they were underneath that organization's banner as a junior squad, it felt like every fourth day there'd be a post on Reddit like, oh my god, look at how high their ranking is. And then at the same time, the main team is just, you know, going from Team of the Year last year to just steadily worse and worse and worse and really losing themselves in the process. It was a strange juxtaposition. I'm sure that now that that leash has been removed, this is a team that is ready to try and take the world by storm. Still, it's a different thing to win a few online events, and it's a different thing to qualify for one of the most prestigious tournaments in the entire capital, the ESL Pro League. They've got their sights set on it, but Alliance, it's not like they haven't been out there hustling, bustling, grinding, just like everyone else in Tier 2 Counter-Strike.
Yeah, and they've had the luxury in some capacity to, you know, be a squad that are, you know, playing in Nordic lands or Swedish lands as well, alongside the online competitions that everyone else is sort of engaged in the rat race with. So, you know, they've done actually quite well for themselves in terms of, you know, bounding back. I think this Alliance roster and the project, you know, kind of had its peaks and troughs, and the trough did seem quite insurmountable, but in the past 4 or 5 months, they have really turned the ship around. Well, that came with the addition of Era.
Refrag coming out from Poi, he continues forward, and the aforementioned Era will be able to pick up a kill of his own, and the two will be able to smoke off both access points, but Demon feels like he wants to try and hunt. Both him and Krabany can try and move through the smokes at the same time, but they decide against it. They will be collecting. They want to turn this into 2 consecutive 2 versus 1s. They've got the smoke, they've got the kit across different players, but they will still end up splitting up.
Gonna allow this Krabany apartment's presence to reveal first, but Flash tries to upset Upe inside the pit, but they go out swinging, trying to fight and isolate Storm, but Krabany can now run down that player in pit, and because he actually doesn't have that kit, he couldn't quite breach into the bomb site to pick up the defuse. It was too far gone. 2 kills for Krabany, but it's a 1 round for Alliance.
Nicely done in the 2 versus 2. Upe being fortunate enough to not just dodge the flash, but continue to stay back and bring it into a 2 versus 1. And there you have it. One of the things that I always look forward towards this Alliance side is that, you know, to be honest, towards any fully Swedish side, is it feels like so much of the modern day of Counter-Strike has been influenced by, you know, how Danish CS worked in terms of, you know, the protocols, the utility, and this and that. But we can't forget how Swedish CS basically invented defaulting. So I always want to know that, hey, how much of that sort of flair is still there? How much of these guys maybe looking back to players from years gone by and maybe hoping to emulate? Of course, the heroes of today are very different from the heroes of my time back when Olaf Meister had songs written about his Tech 9.
Yeah, if you're writing songs or you're got any sort of idol worship in modern day Counter-Strike, it's swing fast and swing heavy, and that's what Alliance do right up mid. Coupled with the flash, Matheus and Demon actually do a decent job of finding kills, and Jugas maintains control of this A bomb site. So it's gone very well, even if Avid found 3 kills. ex-NAVI Jr. and right back.
Arizona in a terrible position for this 1 versus 2 though. Finds the first kill, makes it look easy, and Jugas is still low. So suddenly that Galil feels just as deadly as anything else, especially when you consider the bomb can be recovered very easily. Molotov with it as well. Era will just turn back off to the B bomb side he goes, or at least that's what the threat is. Jugas.
He takes the bait.
And he will be caught hook, line, and sinker, but question is, when the bomb is planted, will Era take a forward position or try and play it conservatively?
Jugas has to be so annoyed. He knows he's just been hoodwinked simply by that one step Era makes receding in from mid, so Era can be absolutely anywhere in this after plan.
And now Era comes in from behind. Picture perfect. What a round from Era. Second round on the board from Alliance, and the former NAVI Junior side will be reset economically.
Yeah, I love that. I mean, that is just a pure vet play from Era. That's a good understanding of where, not only where Jugas is likely to have played, because I mean he gets that kill. He's playing close tuck truck. They didn't have info on him, and the fact that he's Era is able to get that kill close smoke to Modo, he actually reads the fact that Jugas, there's no chance he would have made it into the apartments. In theory, he could have. He could have pushed short and gone into boiler. He could have jumped up balcony into the apartments. He could have beat him to mid, but Era just had a hard read that he actually committed to the site because of the fact that they had no idea where Era was until he sprung into action around that Moto smoke. So perfectly pieced together. Actually a very intelligently played clutch.
Gotta say, man, Era is one of those players who, when I saw him initially come up in Game Legion, I really thought it would be he's just okay.
Sure.
And it feels like in that process, I honestly thought he's a lot older than he is. I just checked his age again. I thought Era would be like 26 by now. But no, turns out he was just very young when he started on that Gamer Legion side. Only 23, still in the prime of his years, and feels like he's playing his best Counter-Strike ever.
Gotta forget that these 18-year-olds are still 18-year-olds. When they hit 20, we sometimes just think they hit like 29 as well. So
we've all got a little bit of DiCaprio in us in Counter-Strike. Still, Mateo's getting taken down, the newest member of the side, eliminated, and Jugas has to be careful that he doesn't suffer the same fate.
yeah, I don't think Matheus is even signed with the roster.
I mean, there isn't an organization.
Yeah, well, but it just seems like they're giving him a chance, and he's still with the Copenhagen Wolves and is kind of seen as a star player. And if you're going to replace Mikaze with anyone, another sort of up and coming star is actually kind of the perfect direction to go. So giving it a good old swing with Matheus, but struggled in the start of this round. Alliance are making the right decision here by moving towards this A side. ex-NAVI Jr. just moves an extra man over to that B bomb site. Symmetry's really caught in a bad situation. Just has to tuck, hide, and wait for the reinforcements because it's coming. It's just gonna come too late.
I think that reinforcement might decide not to come at this point. Getting a retake over here is incredibly difficult, although Era giving up a freebie is certainly going to help. That M4 recovered. Demon chance, but not one used.
Yeah, this is now a save with Krabini focusing on that M4. But they get an opening kill at Banana. They stop, work the rest of the map, realize that they've got a bit of room to work off of inside of bracket, and just go for a split execute. ex-NAVI Jr. kind of realized that they were flying a bit blind and actually wanted to hunt for information, but they do so maybe 5 seconds too late. They got earlier. They actually could have caught Alliance setting up that util. Nice control there for Gravity. Good kills on the exit, trying to create a path, and actually gets a following frag, so almost a chance there for Jugas to pick up a rifle, but instead it's just a lot of damage done on the exit.
It's not without merit, but Navi Junior, rather former Navi Junior. I wish these guys would call themselves something else.
Yeah, I agree with that.
Yeah, it's just
I even
like,
prefer.
I don't want to call them that.
I even prefer players, and that was a terrible name.
Wait, but what about the classic looking for org?
Yeah, I mean, at least an organization will look at that and see that you are looking for org.
That's true, and then they'll look you up on HLTV and find 7 other of you.
Yeah.
Well, we should be having a resume pretty soon. Yeah, I heard the ticks going off. Alliance do lose out a fair bit of money in the last one, but they still have a chance over here to reaffirm that economy. Now, I'm actually very surprised that they don't go for any investments into the Mac 10s and the like, so it feels like anything Navi Junior formally find over here is going to be really important.
I think the important part is that I don't think the ex-NAVI Junior players will actually care that much if we call them NAVI Junior. I think a lot of them, I think they parted the organization amicably. They spent a lot of good time and built a lot of good experience under that brand.
Pretty gracious for Navi to even also let them go without any buyouts.
Of course.
Right? That's pretty cool.
Assuming that's what's happening, because I mean,
I
have no reason to believe it wouldn't.
But I would like to imagine the scenario of ex-NAVI just saying, "Yonder, go forth, my sons, be free, fly." And right now they're flying into the traps of Sweden. Alliance hoping to put themselves in a obviously convincing lead, but much more importantly, to a convincing economy, something that really the whole world has been looking for these days.
I have now spun this weird Alexi B blade headcanon because of that. You planted this thought, and now I couldn't contain my imagination.
Welcome to my world.
You must let them go, Father.
Father, I beg you. Demon is flashed up. He said he can twist will shut him away. I don't know why I'm continuing the accent, honestly. I'm sorry. It's too catchy.
This is
still
a little
35
troubling.
seconds,
Yeah,
and it could be problematic.
Yeah, Alliance are actually sort of staggering here, and these smokes are not going to last forever. Symmetry, first kill, that's nice. And if Jugas somehow overpowers his fight in the apartments, he could have gone pear-shaped, but that doesn't happen. And now Symmetry, as much as he can try, it will not succeed. Too much time needed to be bought to stop this round from happening.
Yeah. Gravity will be able to save that M4 that he pocketed from that last round. Might not be the most fun life saving for 2 rounds straight, but hey, it's a life that gets you paid.
Yeah, he's also, you got 3 exits last time, so, you know, who knows? You could find more.
Well,
that's $300 a pop.
And more importantly, that's $3,000 being taken out of their hands every time.
Well, a little more than that.
Well, the rest is on their body, but yeah.
No, I meant like, yeah, armor. I see what you're saying. He might die in the bomb here.
Well, no, he doesn't.
He dies to Boy.
Boy will save him the humiliation.
Yeah, surviving on 4 HP, that bomb radius can tickle you down enough.
Okay. Now comes out the rail buy. The former Navi Junior camp come through the AWP, full utility, hopefully kit on Krabany as well. Hopefully. Hopefully. It's okay, they don't need a kit. No one really retakes on Inferno anyway. This is, you know, this is the saving ground.
Kind of valid, but also he does have the money, so he should have. May not matter if they find a good start. So far, Alliance has been doing a good job of finding an opening and also working the rest of the map slowly and methodically. A chance down towards B, but they take a lot of damage. Mateos even hounded down by the HE, hovering round at the mouth of B on that health. He took a risk.
He was asking for the AWP. He really thought that he'd be left alone on the B bomb site because of it. Symmetry's told him that that's not happening. Mateos is throwing the adjustment. Falls to the nade. Early damage on this Jugus is responded upon. Jugus fires right back. Symmetry waiting. Can he put that up to good use? Yes, he can. First kill is really pretty, and without there being any incendiaries, there's no way you push him out of this position. So they'll try and maybe just route it through with a flashbang. That flashbang does not connect, and Symmetry cannot stop connecting. Nade is good. Era finishes him off. It's back to a 2 versus 3, but with the HP being where it is, the Nordic side is going to be hard pressed to make anything happen over here. Flashbang Avid is good for only the one though. Can't double it up. Demon obscured by the corpse of his teammate comes through with a quick double. The former NAVI junior camp will find 3.
Yeah, I mean, fantastic work there from Symmetry. I mean, the quick kills on that ult. The first kill is the most pedestrian, but I mean, good understanding of where the gap is around the smoke, where his next fight was coming from, and even just taking that wide angle as he sort of bolted back the AWP again, just gives him the info for another attempt. You know, he could have very well made out with 3 kills, even 4 had he actually dealt with that player top first oranges. But he does enough damage, he buys enough time, and he thins the herd. Even with Matthews losing his life for free, effectively. And I don't imagine that'll do too much to mess Alliance around.
Well, all of those exit frags that Gravity found, they're looking pretty good right now.
Yeah, see, I don't like that, you know, we're being so selective. You should have said damage, and instead we're talking about the exit frags. Because you know, exit frags.
I just think exit frags is used a little bit too liberally as a bad term.
Yeah,
we need to start reclaiming.
It is a bit stigmatized, but
yeah,
it's effectively weightless kills is how we.
It's true.
Are sort of using it as a euphemism for.
I think it's important to keep in mind exit frags are kills that haven't been weighted until it comes into play, and now it has. Right now, suddenly that bar that you saw him taking up and down at the bench press, you're realizing, oh my god, he had 100 kilos on either side. I think that's a lot. I don't know how bench presses work, guys. I'm scrawny, but not really good at casting. How do I mess it up both ways, Michael? Oh my god, now I'm just sad.
Yeah, it's kind of like a conditional negative, right? If you're getting a lot of your impact only from kills on the, or if you're getting a lot of your kills rather on the exit, and it's not actually having any ramifications, then it can be seen as a negative, or almost like a demerit. But you're right, you know, there is a conditional positive as well, but you have to actually find success typically to get more success. It's kind of like a win more condition, but it happens in the past. Anyway, weird conceptual talk.
I wish I was scrawny. I can't grow a mustache at all.
Yeah, well.
Well.
You do speak some French though.
Okay,
Okay, well that's not what
I didn't actually know he spoke French. So.
He's Quebecois.
Well, I don't know enough about this, but from what I've heard, the French people say they don't speak French. So.
Yeah, it's that's a whole thing, I'm sure.
Yeah. You know what is funny though, because I think we've got a second. You know that song that you and Neo sung once, the Gravity song, the Gravity.
Yeah, John Mayer.
Every time I see Gravity's name, I just think of that because of you guys. Like, Queen is bringing them down.
There's no way that. No, there's literally a player called Gravity.
I know, but I hadn't heard the song before. Like the first time I heard it was with you two. Now it's just stuck in my head whenever I see Gravity.
Yeah, good song.
Yeah, it was quite nice. I wish you two weren't the ones singing it though.
Yeah, well, not everyone could be John Mayer.
That's true. Well, we've got a couple of issues going on the server right now, unfortunately, and as much as I would like to continue being sad about not being Quebecois and telling Michael that I wish he was John Mayer as well.
You said Quebecois.
So whatever it is, guys, we're going to a small break while I check out pronunciations and songs, apparently. We're going to be back as soon as the server is fixed. Don't worry, it shouldn't take too long. See you guys in a bit. Welcome back. We are right into the thick of things, and by that I do mean an anti-eco, because Alliance, if you've forgotten, were prey to a lot of very good damage dealt to their economy by Gravity. It has now come through, materialized into a difficult situation.
Yeah, there's still an AK in play though, so you can't underestimate these types of buys. A lot of teams are going this type of buying route where someone will go for that hero AK and they'll make a they'll bend the knee slightly on a full buy, but
we don't do no talking
singular
round
AKs
here.
can do a lot of damage.
We don't play no games round here. We ain't never slipping round here. This another level, this one over here is very
Poking the Tech Knights, that's maybe what I'm even more worried about. It's a very narrow angle being held by Symmetry.
We ain't never slipping round here.
Is fast around the corner, and he could
this one over here is very
take him down. Now, he is low actually at 76, and that does matter. A lot of the times you'll see a wall bang from the off, which probably shouldn't kill
but I was smelling like a millionaire. Claim they were position, but we stepped in, they were running scared.
Has the bomb.
Man, we're louding up the atmosphere.
Have the weapon.
Too much catty.
It's a game of deploy the package, and when Symmetry falls down, Jukas is going to be looking to deploy that smoke. Symmetry protects him, but he can't protect himself. Jukas low, 10 HP. He's been brought down. That threat you talked about, Michael, it's right out here. Let's call error.
That's a brilliant lives. That is genuinely a perfect call. And it comes off of a very strong understanding of what a likely setup is for NAVI Jr. Whether or not they fully expected it to be Symmetry on a balcony with that AWP, or whether or not the players were supposed to be in sort of different positions rather. As soon as they heard that drop in pit, they immediately took space. And without hesitation, they expected there to be a minor second gap that they fully capitalize on purely off of that one sound cue. They found a back exposed at the double boxes, and they find a Symmetry who's actually just not even looking at anything. He's tucked into the wall because he's just about to swing into short. Just as ex-NAVI Jr. were readjusting, Alliance tucked themselves into the fold and totally destroyed them. So, fantastic call, I have to say. Really well done. It's one of the things about playing CT sides so defensive is that you leave yourself vulnerable to those types of maneuvers. That's why often teams will try and be proactive, set flash plays at late timings to disrupt those types of moments, but NAVI Jr. weren't interested in that.
Flash in the face of Mateos will be charged down easily, so Poi is gone. Mateos.
We ain't never slipping round here. This another level, this one over here
maintaining
is very
control
rare.
over Banana, so sure they might have won out the ego-ish round, but that's not to say that their problems are over. Alliance losing out 2 members before seemingly it even begins.
And because they've got those kills, there's no reason for them to hover around. WP and hit a lovely shot. Perfect read. The jump spot to Mateos punished immediately. I think that might have even been his first jump.
This round is far from over. Yes, the problem for Alliance includes that they don't have much utility, but realistically, there's only one person who can stop them on this B-bomb set. If Krabben even trades 1-for-1, the rest of his teammates do not have kits. They never had the money to be able to afford this going forward, so you could see this becoming a problem. Simply starts to rotate over. He won't be able to do too much if they smoke it off, but he finds the perfect timing, and not just that, he finds the perfect kills. Leaves Upe alone. Krabben taken down. Flash is not going to pop. He's peeked out early. I don't even know if it would have blinded the enemy had it popped. 4th round found for the former NAVI Junior side.
Symmetry feels like he's getting caught off guard at times when he's on these rotates, or he's retaking an angle, and part of that is Alliance and the timings that they're trying to hit, but he just seems surprised a lot, and yet he still manages out with kills. It's actually quite astounding how quick he's sort of composing himself to overcome those duels, because he arrives right on time for that contact play. Alliance, if they did have one available, that round changes completely if they just have a smoke. They did find a weaker side, and they did make ex-NAVI Junior sweat a little bit, at least.
Working out and breaking his sweat, it doesn't really feel bad though, is the problem. NAVI Junior still feel like they could very well regain control over this game swiftly. One good thing for Alliance is that they don't have to deal with an off again right now, but I don't even know if that's all that good. It hasn't always been the off where their problems have lied. What's the last time we had like a really good off switch? 2019 probably, Fnatic, Golden.
Was that really good though?
They were top 3. They made like a couple of finals.
Yeah. I don't think I wasn't taken aback by them. You know, obviously the real height of it was NIP Fnatic, like 2014-16. But yeah, probably 2019. You're probably right.
Did feel like that was a team that, when we went to the pandemic era, everything went online, you lost that little LAN edge that you get. That team died really fast.
Yeah, they did spiral as soon as the pandemic hit. There were definitely a lot of teams that suffered that fate.
Going back, they won DreamHack Masters Malmo. That was pretty good. You know, domestic home crowd event and everything as well. Yeah, it's pretty decent. They bombed out of the major and didn't qualify for the second one of 2019. So, you know, mixed results.
Sure, yeah. You gotta take the good with the bad.
Yeah. 4th place at WBSG, but 4th place at a $1.5 million tournament. Hey, you know, not bad.
Can't knock it. Yeah, it is strange though. Like when we look back, I mean, the way that the landscape has changed, the tournaments nowadays. I mean, think about this year. How many S tier events there are, and how many S tier events there have been with a lot of the. I mean, our top teams. So the VRS and the way that it's sort of dictated the invite system has meant that we get more exposure to the exact same top teams more often, which has its pros and cons. I won't pretend I don't enjoy a bit of variety, but if we compare that to eras of old, you'd have sometimes like 3 or 4 tournaments in a row where 2 quote-unquote elite teams or top teams just wouldn't encounter each other. They maybe attend one event that had crossover, but they'd be in different groups, and then one maybe underperforms on the opposite sides of the bracket or something. And then
back then
there'd be 3 where they just don't actually get invited to the same events. So
back then you just get like a random invite out for like a North American team. Why?
Yeah.
Why are they here? And then the answer was always someone ready to think, well, actually, they've got a lot of fans.
And they'd won a previous tournament, but then it wasn't like maybe necessarily explained that way. Yeah, the landscape has changed a lot.
We've come a long way. And both of these teams, they're looking to write their legends, maybe outside of Twist, who he's had a couple of legends about him.
He's done a great job of almost always kind of continuing to come back, though. Twist is one of those players that has been a part of many different projects, and almost always when he's a part of that project, the tide does rise, but it also does seem to have a ceiling.
Well, let's see if Alliance can break through NAVI Junior's floor right now. And it's in the A-bomb site. 3 players ready and waiting. No one in aggressive positions. Demon will show himself off. Jugas waiting with a flashbang. He does have oversight, but with a deep smoke coming through, Jugas might no longer want to deploy that flashbang. He re-smokes out inside apartments. Remember, that'll be there till about that 41-second mark. Keep that time in mind. If the Lions want to strike, that'll be when they do it. Going in earlier on, right to Arches they go. 30. Pulling out all the stuff, gets the quick entry. Keep on site. Ears are ringing.
Yeah, it beckons.
Nothing else.
They're being shown the business. quite well in some of these moments, and it's actually awesome to see. I won't pretend. I try to watch as much Counter-Strike as possible. I have not seen tons of Alliance's games, but the way that they're sort of playing to such a very like a kind of controlled pace is, I think, a little worrying for Navi Jr., who have shown no real indications of, you know, disruption or up-tempo plays themselves outside of maybe that one deep attempt to banana by Mateos. And so Alliance are kind of working with that extra leg room.
And don't you love an emergency row seat? Unfortunately for Navi Jr., that means that they might be falling out of this plane the way things are going. Alliance are in a position where they could feasibly be expected to fight for 8. Of course, this is their own map pick. You are hoping that this is where they showcase their Navi Jr. have also struggled statistically on Inferno. They've lost out to, you know, teams like your Eclots, your Ecstatics of the world.
It's also a map that, you know, because they have a permaban in train, but it's also a fairly common permaban, or not a map that teams are actively picking. They will sometimes even ban Inferno if they think they can get away with it.
Definitely.
So, a team that kind of has a 5-map pool, really.
Which, hey man, for a young team, for an academy team, I like that more than I don't, to be honest.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's reasonable for sure.
Alliance, however, are hoping to make it a freebie for themselves, and sure, things have not been without contest. This is quite an interesting thing we had on Inferno earlier on today with that very good shot. This is a very good line. They have Ron. Boy, towing the line, finds Demon, jumping up. That is unnecessary.
Yeah, he gets greedy. He wants information around the top side of that smoke, and he gets a whole load of it, but it comes at the cost of his life.
Jugas inside the smoke. Even go in. Oh, whoa. I got distracted because switching. Yeah.
The transitions through smokes, we suddenly portaled to the other side of the map.
Era's gonna be looking at the bomb site. Symmetry's caught out over here. Era doesn't realize there's a player inside the site. It doesn't matter. What in the world?
He's in their heads.
What's going on?
He's actually in their heads. I mean,
he's in my head.
His timings are great. He's got this immediate read. I mean, his teammate dies practically right next to him, and then afterwards, just able to take the space because he hears them fall back after the fact, and they think they've got a window where they don't have to worry about the apartments, but they definitely need to worry about the apartments. They need to worry about Era.
I'm worried about Era.
Now, the funny thing about Era is, if there ever comes another player that names himself similarly, he will always be known as the Swedish Era, which will only cause confusion.
It could be worse. It could be another Swedish player who calls himself that, because it's funny. I don't know if you remember this. You probably do. This is such a stupid piece of trivia.
Sure.
But on Fnatic in 2013, their Dota 2 team had a Swedish player called Era who was considered a pretty damn good carry player. So yeah, there are other Swedish Eras.
They just don't all play the same game.
Yeah. Well, Navi Jr. come through with 3 pharmacies in the last round of this half. They have one opportunity to make this not as devastating as it feels like it is. They will be having a much more aggressive line out on towards this A bomb site. A lot of that is courtesy of Crabany being left completely alone on B. But Crabany's real the fact that he's in a pretty forward-facing position. Boy is hunting him down. Crabany takes the fight. Excellent play. He looks for more, but the flash is on point.
Yeah, it'll feel...
back out towards CT, and Upe is still in a great position to punish Rogue.
It'll almost feel like he does too much there by being solo on the bomb site, but he's trying to fake that there's additional presence, that they're going for retakes over towards Banana. He actually needs to fight to kind of sell that idea and convince them that there's more in this site than just Crabini alone. But 3-on-3, now as Era finds kills through the smoke, another one as well. Mateos runs into it.
And suddenly Symmetry and Demon feel like it's something to play with. There's no reason to peek, but Arrow will still do it. He wants them all. Twist is the one to steal. Alliance on 8. An excellent T-side half, but can they top it out in the second with a similar performance on the CT side? Let's find out after a quick break.
Disappear. You can't find me here. Soon the world will be far behind. I tried to get away, but you keep sending me a sign. Oh, baby, there's nothing I can do. Baby, I'm telling you the truth. Angels who always threw something away. Could I be desperate, crazy, or is it that they never see things my way? Around the world keeps turning, waking up day after day, hoping to change my story.
Welcome back. At the turn of the half, we saw Alliance powering up. Some very nice kills coming through from Era across the entirety of that first half, and topped out with some even nicer calling. The former NAVI Junior camp has been rattled, but can they find stability in the second half?
Yeah, I mean, not much you can really say in the negatives for Alliance in the way that first half played out. Played with good temperance, hit some nice shots. You know, whether it was some of the counter kills or openers that you found from Poi or Avid or Twist or Era, you know, they were just constantly finding opportunities to make Navi Junior uncomfortable. And it's really Era and Twist as these two sort of vets on the squad that have been really leading the way.
Well, right now Mateos is leading Banana's way. 2 kills found. It felt like the second was labored, but labor will still pay off. There, I was hoping to find some sort of equalization. Him and Ube. Whoa, Era. He's so aggressive. He has missed symmetry out in the back line, but he's not going to realize how close Demon is. He still gets the kill.
He leapt at him.
He is in full control. Now, he does end up falling. Mateos finds kill number 3. Do they realize where Twist is?
They should have the
Because
suspicion.
he could have backed off into church. Twist just has to be careful not to be shot down by symmetry from there. It all comes down to Twist and symmetry. If Twist wins his duel, oh, he's not going to, is he? He's not going to. He's already been gooshed down. It all comes up to Upe. Mateos is low. He's picked up the bomb, but he cannot accelerate. If he does do so, Upe peeks out, drops it. Then that bomb even drops behind the half wall, so perfectly positioned for Upe to play this round out. Gets the instant headshot as well. Era's stylish, but Upe is the one to get them the round.
Yeah, Upe got his kill in the apartments and also tried to push alongside Era to disrupt the play that ex-NAVI Jr. were going for. Because Mateos got those 2 openers at B, they were set up for, I think, a more second mid to mid focused play on the pistol, but getting 2 entries, how can you not run to that B bomb site? And just in that transition period, trying to back away from mid, they get caught by that Upe Era duo. Era's having just a hell of a map.
He can dodge the flames. Apparently he can dodge the bullets too. This man's right on the main face.
The same way we were talking about Adam B in the previous game. This is also Mateo's first foray into this roster and trying to bridge the gap in the core. So a little bird off kilter. Upe doing a good job of actually slowing things down towards A. Finds another, but these players are weak. I mean, the fact that Poi is on 6 HP, coming back to a 3-on-3 retake, and they're all on SMGs. It's not looking likely that they can make this retake work, but they should give it an honest shot.
Twist utility has to be everything over here. Avid receives the incendiary. Poi is not going to be a major factor, not for long. And Avid's backing off. If they couldn't find a kill, there was no way they go back onto the site. I'm not sure if Upe had a kit. I don't think he did, because he did, of course, buy the M4A4, so it wouldn't be easy for him to afford that one up.
Yeah, I don't think he would have had the capacity for it. They are setting up for these exits, though, and they will deliver that rifle right back. In fact, they could find the AK. In fact, they get every single kill via the SMGs. They lose one of their players on the exit attempt, but they at least secure a rifle. And nothing is carried over for ex-NAVI Jr.
ex-NAVI Jr. will still come into this one with a much better buy than last. However, Alliance could be tempted into force buying around these weapons. Would rather they don't. It'll be a happy middle round.
Who's happy? Are you happy with the middle ground? Because I'm not happy. I'd rather
I was wondering about
pick your poison.
What if I just have a sip from both?
I ain't got 2 antidotes, just 1.
Well, maybe that's the problem. A bad apothecary. Boy, however, he is backing the hell out of this shop. He doesn't want anything to do with these creepy, heapy GPs. Right. Found. Grabbing doesn't win the duel. It really felt like he was going to. Position was immaculate. Boy dodges out the nade damage. Will be able to stay alive. CTs do have a kit. But again, it just feels like you're being baited into a retake that's nearly impossible. The re-smoke on CT is going to be what breaks them.
Yeah, they're not.
Surely you don't go for this.
They weren't going for it. Even before that extra smoke came out, they were backing away. They were giving it a little shot, just spamming through the smoke, and if anything had kind of fallen their way, 5-on-3, then they 100% give it a shot. But once again, they're trying to do damage on the exit. They find some extra kills. In fact, a lot of presence over towards Banana. Just surviving on 1 HP. SMG of Demon hounds down 2. he doesn't actually upgrade into a rifle, but he steals a lot out of the hands of Alliance. Had they saved the rifle, the MP9, they probably buy here.
Look, this is where I do wonder about how much of this is going to come down to making sure you have a clean win on Inferno in Alliance's mind, and, you know, maybe focusing on that and whatnot could also pave the way to Navi Junior making maybe a bit of a mental resurgence, a comeback to come through.
I think the more maps you give them, you know, you're not always going to get games where Jugas isn't a little bit more influential. You know, Mateos felt very uncomfortable on that CT side. You know, Krabenit also has had a couple of these moments where, you know, even if he's the caller, he's, you know, mechanically quite skilled. You know, it's part of what made this ex-NAVI Junior such a force to be reckoned with in the tier 2 space, is that you had Mikaze, sure, you know, star player, definitely the one that deserved the attention that he got, but it's not like these other pieces were actually that weak around him. It's not like he was having to carry them through games. They just all played to different strengths.
That's
A great
actually very
example.
impressive. Like, that's so impressive. I know it's just an anti-eco kills, but that is a super long-range spray. That's a full 30 bullets for 4.
Yep. Especially in the current state of CS2, where if you're not watching top-tier Counter-Strike and you're only playing Pugs, for example, if you look at like 2K Elo plus games, people be whiffing sprays a lot.
Yeah.
Like a lot. I'm not even long range sprays sometimes. Like it is a different beast to how it was in CS:GO. So
ooh, that looked like it should have been a kill. Arrow's unable to debut his AWP with a frag in the middle.
that is 2 near miss deaths for ex-NAVI Junior at the start of this round. Mateos and Demon just limping. And they've barely seen a soul.
Can they make up for it? Alliance, one smoke, that's all they have over towards that B bomb site. They've got a couple of incendiaries and flashbangs, so you should expect to see some mid-round aggression to come through if they want to keep a hold over any real area of the map. There actually has a smoke. And as Symmetry starts to move forward, 3 players inside apartments would certainly be one way to be able to navigate around this heavy Archer's presence that is there. Jugas getting ready, but Avid's actually pushed forward through the smoke, finds a kill. Lupe will have 2 weakened players, don't forget that, but Symmetry's the one to trade away, so they keep them alive. Only 1 going down. The bomb can be planted, lots of space over here in the bomb site itself, but Avid has to be careful. Krebany, excellent position. Avid barely misses him just as Krebany misses that shot. Not really information given over about 1 player being in middle. You can see the flank being set up by Twist. He's coming in from behind. Krebany also watched out by Era, but Era's taken down. That earlier damage he took coming back to bite them. Twist unable to find the frag. This is so many opportunities for Alliance being missed, and Avid will finally capitalize on one of them, but with the lack of a kit. Remember, Poi is the only one who possesses it. If you can take it down, this one becomes exponentially more difficult, but Symmetry's not going to be in position to even try. The incendiary misses. What is that shot? Twist will get it done.
No way. They didn't have time to spare. Twist airborne. That is... that's deeply upsetting, actually. That is
Steph
deeply
Curry
upsetting.
will be proud.
Full context. I mean, MP9, pretty good jumping accuracy.
Yeah?
M4A1S, actually not the worst, but it is actually
Pretty mid-range.
it's the best of any rifle.
Yeah.
But it was like the first bullet. it's just crazy that it's the headshot.
God. Fate seems to be swinging the way of the CTs. Compensation for all of those near misses. Era, another near miss. This one doesn't even do damage though. A real problem over at Flash, going to try and regain some more control. Era is ready for Demon's fast progression, but unfortunately, that message hasn't been transferred over to Avid. Crabini in from behind. Look at this push coming out over here as well. Crabini, cut off boy, ready. And Era, who's now just holding on for dear life into Arches, is actually going to be pushing for it as well.
Yeah, he's pressing
he wants to clear out middle. This is so well done.
Has to hit the timing though, and it's being watched for, but the adjustment is perfect. Spots the bomb too.
Broke out in front of him to give him a little bit more space, but that space comes at expense of his life. Head chopped off. 2 versus 2, and now Alliance, who were feeling good about all these shots they're hitting, are suddenly wondering, why are there no more shots to fire? We can't find targets.
This is what I was talking about. You know, you don't always get a Jugas that doesn't find impact. These 2 kills could just be enough for ex-NAVI Jr. to close that gap by a significant margin.
Oh, good shot. Unfortunately for Twist, it's not going to be enough once upon a time in an AWP play, but this time it's just a wallbang. It won't be enough. Teos, great shot onto Boy's head. And Twist will have to move back and save. All of Era's efforts are in vain.
Yeah, I mean, Era does what he can there, really. The shots he's hitting is awareness. He's definitely playing, you know, very on tempo. I think that's he's once he reads a situation, he's actually forecasting the play quite well and falling in line with the sort of the rhythm of the round. And you can see that kind of reflected in how quick he's able to sort of make these adjustments, how his promptness in getting to spots. He's doing what he can. But it is now coming to a point where Alliance have to be very worried. I mean, they come in with quite a significant lead. They get a hell of a pistol under their belt as well. And ex-NAVI Jr., now that they're on rifles, are inching closer and closer.
We've had a couple of timeouts, unfortunately.
Yeah, it seems like nobody's quite satisfied with how the server or something, because it's not like people are dropping, but
What is like the ping like between Sweden and like Eastern Europe?
like it's usually not that bad. I mean, like 30 something.
What's a middle ground server? Like Germany?
Maybe Poland.
I don't know.
Polish server is probably a good one.
Okay. Well, it's a lot of time to think. Not much I can tell you.
Yeah, it's just.
Oh, okay. We have clarification. It is not a server issue. Do not blame us. Ha! It's actually a camera issue because obviously recently with a lot of the discussions going on about integrity and whatnot, you know, there was an announcement as well. There's been a lot of tournament operators, including ESL, who have changed up some of the rules of how your camera has to be positioned. Before, cameras had to be pointed at the face very often because you're putting them in HUDs and this and that. Obviously, integrity is much more of a priority than seeing some random guy's cat come in the room and he plays with it. It's like, oh, there's such a cute moment. So now
those moments are cute for sure, though.
They are actually adorable. Oscar and his birds will always be remembered. But now you have to put a camera behind you so that your entire screen is visible, your mouse is visible, your keyboards are visible. Because obviously, you know, there are a lot of integrity concerns in the modern day of Counter-Strike. As the game has gotten bigger, there are more incentives to people who would do the wrong thing. So, you know what?
Yeah, it's
That's
just
what we're doing.
It's just one of those things where, you know, in online play we can't officiate as much as we want to, and so we're giving ourselves the right things to officiate properly. You know, the same way that you'd go attend a LAN and there'd be an admin standing behind you. Same kind of deal, just with a camera. So it is something that that has been actively worked on, and I actually love that everybody is kind of going on board with that, because there used to be conversations once upon a time about players not wanting to do player cams because they do not own a webcam. It is the year 2025. You can get one of those things for like $10.
Also, you have a phone.
Yeah, that also works. You just download a free app on your phone. So
Yeah.
it's not actually a reasonable excuse, and now
You
it's a
don't even-
requirement.
You can even use your browser. Well, couple of deagles out for Alliance along with the AWP. I bet they've all got phones and webcams.
What, you guys don't
Maybe
have
if they-
phones?
Maybe if they spent less money on them, they'd have better weapons, Michael.
Ah, I see. That's why nobody wanted them.
Oh god.
I'm hoping for 2 here for Twist. It's ambitious.
He didn't get 2 shots.
I said it was ambitious.
It's like telling a 12-year-old to go to Harvard.
Hey! You don't try.
It's happened, but it's probably not going to happen very often.
Funny enough, I come from a demographic where that is sometimes the expectation, so...
Well, I'm glad to hear that you're continuing on toxic parenting.
Not yet. Not yet.
Thank God for your child.
I don't... full disclosure, don't have a child, so...
Yeah, that's what he tells everyone.
No, it's what I know.
Yeah, that's what you tell everyone. No damage dealt. Navi Jr. will have a very clean anti-eco round. Era managed to save his AWP, so whatever was to be saved was saved. Whatever was to be won was won.
Yeah, it's basically coming back in with the bare minimum you bring forward, and yeah, sure, you know, they left Twist kind of alone, and it's not like he played particularly safe on the bomb side itself, but if you wanted to incentivize your team to do anything in that round, basically kind of need a hero moment, and they wanted to safeguard that ult as much as possible and create an effective perimeter. So, full buy, but Twist is short chain, MP9. It does seem like there's a plan here for Alliance to be a little bit more forward-facing over at Banana. Deep smoke already deployed. Mate is trying to get ahead of it, and while he does eat a flash, there's actually just a lack of bodies for Alliance at the top of B. It's pressure on the other extreme. Upe, but Twist wins his duel.
Yes. Shadow was buttered out, but he still wins his as well. So 4 versus 4. Arrow's all alone. And now I'm suddenly wondering, I have an AWP. I'm in an apartment.
Yeah, this is not
Where
a
do
good
I
spot.
go?
It's not a helpful position. He has to fight for
get
one or
this.
the other. It's just on the money. Another quick headshot, and Twist gets traded immediately on the flank.
Find a couple of kills of a hair. Good for the one. Is he going to get the reposition? Yes, he is. Stays alive, but he gives up his forward-facing angle. Avid spots the Shadow, but he loses his teammate in the process. Krabben realized in the middle of that almost peak that he had the bomb, so he starts to relay it over. And all in the meanwhile, it's a duel on the back lines. Head's been spotted. It's been tagged. Arrow might be missing shots, but Avid is right back in it. You said that the former Navi Junior side could come alive. Avid is hoping that it's him as well, but now he's nervous, and he should be. Gravity on the other side. What a play. What a 1 versus 1.
He played it so patient. I mean, he wasn't playing any of these stutter step games. He wasn't going back and forth, you know, especially when your opponent is doing it. You know, it becomes almost this game of chance, and he almost allows his opponent to peek into him, which in CS2 is maybe a bit outrageous, but yeah, Avid was worried, very visibly so, and then Gravity just took this timing to crouch swing under the expectations. I mean, fantastic round from Jugas.
Yeah.
Without his efforts, the round doesn't get anywhere near as close as that. And that's
Unfortunately, you know, it's also one of those moments where, look, kill over in apartments where he finds it after showing Shadow, fair enough, whatever, that's fine. But Era missing the shot on the AWP really does make it so much more difficult for Alliance. He's obviously had a great game so far. He's been a part of a lot of that success. But most of it feels like it was on rifles. On that key side. The envelope. Keeps down middle. 12-second mid. The main stack is dodged, so a lot of this content is going to be finding from the terror side.
They'll slow crawl, and they're going to wait to smoke as well in middle to re-attain some brackets control. Aaron has a player pinned, but he doesn't know it. Gravity swings on good timing, and Demon should hound down the extra player in Upe. And now the same onside. dispelled quite quickly. Mateo's just keeping them busy at Banana, but the round is pretty much done. Boy, or rather Twist, trying from the library. It says for naught. 11th round here for ex-NAVI Jr. after Alliance came in with an 8-4 lead. ex-NAVI Jr. now find themselves with an advantage and actually could find themselves another round win to follow, just given the way that these are kind of starting and finishing. I thought ex-NAVI Jr. had issues on that CT side, but
turns out today just an entire day. 11th secured. There will be no op going into the next round. It's a force buy. No, sorry, the scout was sold back, never mind. So it's a full buy, but you are missing some bells and whistles, and one of those would have cost $5,000.
yeah, I mean, they kept about like 1.5, 2K on number of players there, or max loss bonus. So for them, the decision to buy is quite simple. It's just, you know, if the best thing going for you right now is that you have max loss bonus, it's usually not a good sign.
Down 10-11. NAVI Jr. looking for number 12. And Mateo's already a lot of space being found out. Where's his B-bomb side? Dodging out utility left, right, and center. He has managed to keep a very strong position for himself. And should the Alliance side want to reaggress, they will always have to consider that. He actually turns off, though. It's going to be a redirection. They want to find a bracket after taking banana control. Now, this might sound elementary, but it's very risky. You've used most of your utility by the time you get to either side. So if you get brackets, but you don't get a kill, it feels like the CTs still have an advantage. But the CTs, however, don't want to give that territory up because of the lack of an op to reinforce the late round sites.
I think the worst part about it is simply that they wanted to go and swing into that tempo, and they've been disrupted by that smoke deployment by Alliance. So now they have fully given up banana.
Again, not everything. They get the entry, they get them both. Disaster has struck, and it has struck in the hands of Jugas, Gravity, and Demon. Alliance will look to save. I don't know if they will be allowed to. The international side is on the hunt, and understandably so. They have money.
Yeah, they've got the money to spare, and they know that these rifles are going to be critically important. Sure, I'm talking about, you know, having the capacity to muster up a buy, given that you're on max loss bonus, but the retention of at least a couple of rifles is necessary to get another comparable buy in the round to follow. They deal with these two rifles. Could be the knockout punch here for ex-NAVI Jr.
They're heading away. The horror movie, even losing one is big. Boy, the sole survivor sent back to tell the tales of ex-NAVI Jr.
Now they'll still get weapons. I mean, SMGs. You'll probably see a FAMAS. And they'll just have to try and make that work. But
and I mean, a tactical timeout used by the team on map point. That is really making sure of everything.
well,
Did they also take their coach with them, Michael?
I'm actually not sure.
Because I would imagine that's like a good person to keep in the organization for Navi.
I mean, he's still listed as their. He is listed as their coach. So, but I don't know that he's announced that he's left with them. I'm not sure.
Okay, so Mateos tweeted that thank you Coolios for the chance. I'm assuming that Coolios is still probably associated with them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's also said he's going to play. Mateos also announced that he was going to play with them on loan, right? So.
Yeah. Well, here we go. Alliance, however, whatever coaching situation is, they just know that they're losing to it. And they need to stop losing to it. Could be now or never. This is their map pick. This is what they start off with an 8-4 half on.
think they're ready for this whatsoever. Blow on the smoke, but actually, no. The flashes don't make it, and so they just funnel out of the apartments without the util to make these fights any easier. They get absolutely rinsed. The flash bounced out of the apartments. It didn't bounce off the chimney. I don't think the mid one made it either. They were worryingly able to see there on the side of Alliance, even though they had a smoke to bridge into the apartments and to the end of them after the incendiary.
Unfortunately, no amount of tactical timeouts are going to make up for the fact that sometimes you just make mistakes.
Yeah.
And it sucks that might be the only analysis you can make. Hey, messed up, it's fine, but can they get over it? It's still young. Over and out, they go into middle. Gravity takes down Era immediately.
I think Era's had a lot of these moments where it just seems so in tune. Gravity just puts a bullet between his eyes right at the start of a round. So if it ends up in one of these late situations, hell, even in this mid round, Alliance are not going to be as comfortable as knowing that Era was having this, fantastic game. Boy, left with a lot of responsibility. Smoke does step down to split them, but he gets taken before the CT smoke. This 3-on-5 is not looking likely. They still have a lurking player as well, running interference in Jugas. Upe is trying to dance with him, but Jugas is a rough partner.
Unfortunately, not enough time to teach him the details of the bowl. Twist and Avid now just Twist all alone, realizes what this game was. It is 11-13 for NAVI Junior's former team. Alliance walk into the second half, head held high, 8-4. They win the pistol round, but from that forced by loss onwards, it was all disaster coming through. What a recovery from former NAVI.
Yeah, and to think this is their worst. There's a bunch of questions that I have about just NAVI Junior, NAVI the team, everybody, in fact. Just because there's a lot of things that actually could be clarified and actually probably should be.
It would be nice if we got that, yeah.
Yeah, because kind of the only announcement that NAVI Junior had even released this team was like a post saying the X that you know you can't get back or something on their Twitter that I could find. So.
Well, you know what? Let's find out whether their ex is going to go out there and look like she is living her best life, though. It'll be Dust2. It'll be their map pick up against Alliance, a team that looked really good until they didn't. And Boy right now doesn't. Avid and Upe looking to fight along with Boy. Avid is sharp. He's cut him open, sees the inside, eats him right up. Jugas all alone, 1 versus 4, no bomb, no chance.
Well, Era plus a set of dualies. It was Upe in the CT pistol on Inferno. But Era gets his double. The fact that Avid's able to be so aggressive inside of those tunnels and get that second kill as he's transitioning back, it's just too easy, effectively. When you get a flurry of kills so rapidly, it's very hard to react.
Smoke volley. Trying to take a little bit more control out towards long as the CT side, but they really don't have the weapons to do it, nor the manpower to do so. They don't want to be contesting with these Tech 9s, or for that matter, the Scout at any of these ranges. You can always be quickly chopped out. Symmetry. He's hunting for a kill that it feels unlikely he's ever going to find. Now, the single flashbang trying to penetrate the B-bomb site is really not easy.
They do have a lot of smokes, though.
That helps.
Symmetry can fake out the long cross, keep these players busy, and they can actually kind of just build a full exec on B.
Smoke. Does mean they're going to start to go through this one. Smokes out for the B tunnels. Upe not able to find any kills with the M4A1 initially, but 2 quick ones are certainly nice. Materials from Eagles good for the trade. They pull out utility. Boy not revealing himself this late in the round made them assume that it was going to be a 2 mid setup or something off the sort. Demon got a symmetry in middle. Also ends up falling without getting a kill. Look at how low 3 of those players were. The Boy, Twist, and Avid all within a whisper of death.
Yeah, it does come kind of shockingly close, but the fact that Upe was able to play at the back plat and just have this long line down to the upper tunnels, they had hoped that just that small fake by Symmetry was enough to drag another player over from the B doors to spawn and that they'd be sectioned off by util. Just wasn't the case. Lions played within the site. But that's a really nice shot from Mateus. Era, independent play off of short, gives over a weapon that they may be able to use to greater effect.
Mateus will sacrifice his life for a little bit more space out towards the spot as Boy, and Scrappy looks to take a gander. It's Demon who's really the only one with prospects. And Demon goes overlooked. Kill number 1. Is there 2? No. Avid will be able to get the aim punch out initially, but even just that extra money is pretty nice to have.
I was going to say, it's not inconsequential, just damage to your own money, but then also allowing him to get $600 just for an uncleared position. Could have been worse, I guess. Could have been knifed.
What do you think of the idea that if you spend extra money on a rifle, you'll be able to... If you get an AK where you're like, hey, I want to buy this for $3,700 instead.
Huh.
But it also transfers over to your opponents.
What, so if you die with it,
yeah.
they also... Okay, I mean, this becomes way too complicated then.
Okay, let's guys
if it was,
yeah,
if it was just a wager, I actually wouldn't hate that.
Yeah.
There'd be more reasons to critique why someone's done something.
It's the only way you can get money with an op is if you spend $15,000.
Also, wouldn't the rich just get richer?
Or your economy comes crashing downhill. Upe is going to be caught in the B-bomb site with Demon in his face, and Demon is not just coming in with flowers in his hand, it's with AKs, Mateos holding one of them. And these entries on the B-bomb site will certainly be met with damage, but damage doesn't stop Demon. Really, nothing does. Maybe a holy spirit.
Isn't it lovely when a plan comes together? I mean, just a simple up-tempo play to be, and they find the immediate entry, they catch the player in the window trying to compensate and thin the herd and just win the round immediately.
Oh dear. That was lucky. Lucky I was not the fight with that grenade popping in his face. Would have certainly made it more difficult. Jugus still. Headshot is what delivers death. Twist has been found, but he's still finding back Molotov to his feet, and Moment out of Duty Camp are hunting hard. This is one of the things I really like about, you know, this particular squad. So many people have just stopped hunting in CS, especially when they feel like, oh no, we need to build up our money and this and that. This was not a round without risk for them as far as the amount of cash that they would be allowed to build up. But considering that the last round, they get 2 kills as well. CT economy is not going to be in a great place now because of this. 2 of these players certainly can't buy. It's great.
Yeah, it's also easier to justify going for an immediate hunt when you do start the round basically 5-on-2 with the bomb down. But I understand the sentiment. You know, there are some teams that are so risk averse that even just the idea of throwing your guns away just to get rid of theirs, how dare I'm focused on me actually. I do agree. It's one of the key sort of balancing points that actually does make, you know, MR12 has its quirks.
Yeah.
There's definitely less experimentation. You can't, I guess, create conditions or, I guess, or just condition your opponent properly in the same way. But hunting is actually should be more incentivized in a sense because your economy is that much more fickle. Retained weapons give you another buy round.
I was asking for anything. Any sort of your campus can be put to use. Oh, that smoke was just fading. Demon. The timing could not be worse than this. The Demon will get the kill. Eras, however, will trade.
finishing off the job. Great blow on the smoke, but it works against them. Boy and Avid able to get a double. Symmetry just a spam right through on timing. Does make this more feasible, especially with the kill from Jugas. Now the 2-on-2, and no split.
And it's a 2 versus 1. If you end up going over towards the A-bomb side, Era and Avid both realize that they're going to be looking to collect resources into middle. See if they can get a flank going. From NAVI Junior camp, however, are in fact going to be assisted by the low time of the block. They feel the need to accelerate a Molotov through the back. Bomb can be planted. It's planted for short though. So if that's where they want to go, this MP9 can still make work happen. Molotov forces Avid forward. The fight's been taken, but the head's not being spotted. Avid's managing to keep them away, and now suddenly this young international side is caught in the crossfires. They're soon going to have an AWP to deal with as well. Era takes him down. Symmetry are alone. First kill found. Running out of ammo. Can't connect. That was beautiful from Avid.
Yeah, he did everything, really. I mean, Era hits the shots, but Avid just keeps them pinned. They wanted shorts the post plant, and then they realized, wait, we're actually being toyed with. This MP9 is doing a lot more damage than we're doing back, and we're just not getting into the post plant we want. They had to worry about someone walking up spawn as well, and then it was only when Era revealed himself that they fully convinced themselves that this was not a good idea. I mean, that's a beautiful play, and I love that he repositioned and didn't fight desperately to take the site. He didn't actually need to do that, and it would have been hard to make work on the SMG. Great boost as well for Era.
Boost on boost action. Era's not done yet. Oh, could have used a split second more. Of course, Matthias might not have revealed himself regardless, so Era over here is just backing up. Grenade in his hand is not where it's supposed to be. Put it away, Era. He does, but maybe not how you thought he would. CT and Terry won't be doing too much to deter the T side at all. Avid puts him out deep grenade, but again, it's nades in hands from both sides. Jugas pulls out the bottle, and Avid's been allowed to live. That last round performance can't be replicated, though Jugas comes in. 2 big frags, and the entries will give them their second round.
My hot take about NAVI Junior
Okay.
is that Jugas actually was the most impressive eye test rifler on the roster. I just love the way he's like so decisive. He's got great snap aim.
I just have a question.
Sure.
Are you worried this might end up like me saying Zontix is the most likely to make tier 1?
I actually don't remember you saying that, but that's crazy.
Yeah. I was like, hey, Donk's been boosted by Hardcross and Zontix. He's not actually that good. Like, he's good, but he's not that good.
I think for me it's just Jugas feels, I think, maybe more refined, but like lower ceiling than Mikaze. I think Mikaze is really, really good, and but it comes in bursts, and you see that there's still room for improvement. Now that he could hit that improvement and just be like the best player ever, but I think Jugas is feels massively underrated, with just how he can be actually just so clean with how he duels. I think I'm sort of continually. I think I'm increasingly impressed with the consistency of through which I've seen that, because I've watched demos before of him and thought, am I just watching a good demo? Like, was he just making the right moves? It kept on happening where I just see him make really nice choices, and kind of win rounds off of timing plays, but also just his time to kill does sometimes just feel so immediate.
And I'm still sad every time I see Art Frost not doing well. So yeah.
Yeah, you've got your eye testing is a little.
Look, I'm surprisingly good for role players actually, but just not for star players.
Yeah, sure. I can appreciate that.
Well, double short play from the CT. Boy's been boosted up on the M4, or rather he can be boosted up. As soon as that fire's put out, somebody put out this damn fire.
annoying wall of smoke to deal with. They build a wall where they can actually reach the spawn. Crabney, nice headshot, but there's the trade from Poi. I'd almost like to pick up that extra weapon.
Boys can be on the other side, sure, but the Molotov is going to obscure this a bit more. Poi tries to take the peek initially. He's not able to take down the entering man, and Mateos, who's providing backup, can eliminate the threat. This now pushes through the smoke. 5-7 reveals the AWP is down. Symmetry goes unavenged for now. Twist goes back into the Molotovs. That's not helpful. That means that Jugas can continue to block him away. XG and whatnot, but Upe from behind, who's recovered the AK, has made this a 3 versus 2. Alliance want to fight, and rightfully so. But it is right back to even. Upe peeking forward. He'll be losing the duel. Demon puts him to bed.
Yeah, and that'll be the call for Era to save immediately. I mean, there was definitely a chance to come back into that round, but they needed to find a man advantage, or maybe even force Era to lead coming out from short, but that's hardly a favorable fight if he even attempted to do so. Demon's reposition to spawn was incredibly strong, given the smoke that Alliance had put down themselves. So they dodge a bullet. But once again, Era is allowed to hold on to an AWP.
I thought Jugas was 18. He's 16.
Yeah, I mean, the only one that's like an adult is a lone player and Gravity.
Alright. Well, couple of good kills being found, and now Symmetry is realizing I probably shouldn't beat this, actually. This could be a steal round. Alliance could find themselves in a very good position. Era goes back over to look for what he thinks is a lurker, but is in fact the major force that remains alive from the former Navi side. The smoke is going to be dissipating eventually. A deep grenade is being chucked out. The smoke is here, but you have a lot of work to do. There's only one player to do it now that Crabney is dead. Jukas is the only one who can defend this bomb. The AWP is not in a good position. Symmetry's found his 1 kill, and that's really all you can ask for him. A boost up is going to take him down.
Beautiful.
Jukas knows what's going on. He's lined up for a highlight. 2 players without Kevlar, 2 without head armor, and it's Jukas who's got 2, 3! Almost gets them all helped out in the middle by Avid. But unfortunately, it's just not enough. Era shuts him down. That first kill on the Crabney, critical. The second one, instrumental.
Yeah, I mean, they were taking their sweet time to get that bomb down, and I love that Alliance are just willing to play on that ramp. They know that the B bomb side is probably their best chance. They've got limited resources. They re-smoke it. They get all these assertions that ex-NAVI Jr. are going to commit to that B side, but then they are still hesitant to plant. They're not sure about whether they should take that timing or not, and Era just has the perfect read on what is going on. You know, they're waiting effectively to see what Crabney can get done, kind of at the wrong timing. But I love the idea that Alliance had, you know, boosting above those doors and just playing it nice and slow.
The international sides would like to accelerate, though. Not for as long. This has been a very good CT-sided start for Alliance, and honestly, it feels like they're not done yet. Things might become more tricky for them as you move over to the defensive half, but right now, it's not like it's easy. Symmetry reminding us of that. Another kill, and he's going to follow it up just by buying a house in Pit.
Era's got a nice off angle with that all. It becomes more of a death sentence. 1-for-1 exchange around the smoke at mid.
Well, realizes there's a lot of pressure on his shoulders. He's able to thrive underneath. The diamonds are being created right now. Another incendiary buys some time. Symmetry good for 1 point. Backed off. The back stabbed. As Symmetry was the critical piece in the entire round, finding that early pit presence, and he uses it to perfect.
Yeah, I mean, a fantastic triple. Just the opening into the site, and then it was a bit of a back and forth, kind of a weird head-to-head round smokes between him and Era. But eventually, once the pressure starts mounting on short, Era's attention is divided. Not often you see lurking orcs be so successful. No, he can definitely make it work. Era's got a hero orb, and just off of the aggression down middle, he finds a kill onto Symmetry, but holding onto this orb will prove to be a challenge. Say he doesn't win it.
That's what he's looking for. Oh, he's been spotted. As well, there's that trade. Critical difference. Critical difference. You are not going to have an op for the rest of this half. You only have 2 rounds left in it. Even if you win a round over here, unless you're getting like 3 MP9 kills or something ridiculous like that. It's a tough decision to have made in that previous round.
Yeah, it's just a bit mental to me to have gone for that when you've got 4 players charging mid as well.
It feels like those days where you couldn't sell back on the play. Right, but you don't even have that excuse. Military underneath the flames will lose a chunk of life, but he's okay because they have short control. If it doesn't have another flashbang, Era would love to throw him the ones in his pocket. That could make things so much easier for the short defense. Oh, timing is fantastic. Jugas has been dinked down. But look at Alliance's players on the minimap. They're starting to rotate back over. Era being given this boost so he can reinforce for a mid to be smoke, but it feels like it's just going to be a straight tunnels pop. So Alliance, it's not an over-rotate, it's an accurate one. Jugas with an AWP at the ready. Upe's around the corner for dissipating smoke, and he's been taken down. Boy has to do it all. He's been spotted as well. Bomb will be dropped, but it's not enough. Gravity in middle only does damage. 3 versus 3. Demon looks to take the fight to them, but he doesn't have anyone to deploy a flash. Jugas doesn't want to put it all away.
Yeah, I mean, they don't have a smoke in the doors, so they needed that bomb to cross. It got dropped at the mouth of the tunnels, and it's back to 3-on-3. They're going to build this boost here again on Alliance, see if they can actually fish for an opening, but they need something to prompt a reaction. Jugas taking damage inside of the upper tunnels, but it's a damage exchange because Avid gets hit by the AWP.
Are they fighting for this still? No, they're playing containment.
They're
They're going to have to realize you have to just back off. You don't have the HP to even try and
yeah, they were going to almost always back off there. It just if they were given a chance at a kill it card, then they would have been maybe coaxed back in. Era sticks around, which is
they even take the time to line up a double swing. How annoying!
Terrorists win. They get for playing together so much. I had a real OCD thought last round that like if Gravity got a couple of kills and then survived, and then no one else got kills, and Symmetry and Demon saved, everyone would have literally been on the exact same scoreline of ex-NAVI Jr. But that doesn't happen, and there was a chance for Alliance to cause a bit of an upset there, but
it's funny because Iberian Soul almost did that on Inferno. They had 4 players who were all on 10 kills, and then there was I think it was Navi here or couple of nades out will not matter. Jugas with a fantastic headshot. There is Michael's man. Sure, there's some responses coming through the MP9 and the scout. Bomb's been spotted with a jumping error, but unfortunately for Era, it's not like he could land a shot. Still, 3 versus 3. A little bit of bits and bobs of utility, but the problem is that Twist is also detached. Avid doesn't want to push out alone with the MP9. Twist has to make his way over, but while they wait, Avid is also the only one with the kit, so if that dies and falls in an awkward position, it gets tricky. Gravity ready and waiting for the inevitable defense, for the inevitable retake attempt. He even turns around in time to catch Twist. It just couldn't get worse. Era no longer with an opportunity. He'll have Avid lead the charge. Avid inside the flames will fall. It's 7 for the former NAVI Junior camp. They look great in that last bit of the first half. The question is, can they continue looking this good as we lead to the second? Let's find out after a break.
Won't take it no more. Can't take it no more. No. 'Cause the way you say it killing me. Won't let you bring me down. Even though you think you're better than me.
Welcome back to the ESL Pro League Season 22 qualifiers for Europe. The former NAVI Junior side is one half away from potentially making it to Stage 2 of the qualifier lines, on the verge of elimination if results are to be believed. Jugas holding down the line out and long will miss his first opportunity. That's not to say he's not going to hunt for another one. Mateos is going to be given company, but Foley's crouching maneuvers gives him a little bit longer to live. Jugas as well, down to 1 HP. He willed alive.
Yeah, we'll have to try and leverage his health in as many ways as you can. Instead of just taking fights out through that smoke, he'll catch Era. Symmetry down to low health himself, but it finds another out from his spot. It's only Demon that could have really imposed any real control. Gravity unconsidered though, and it's almost a whole lineup for a triple. But then he now knows, out in the open, Upe trying to duck and weave, but the damage is there. Gravity set up for success, and Alliance do not consider his spot.
That is the most ridiculous round. Jukas getting that drive-by kill. Symmetry's been gooshed down to 13, then he gets a frag onto two players who are coming up just by landing the one perfect headshot that he could. And immediately after, because there's been so many players who died on the A side, they're expecting that Gravity will be in short, not deep and Gandalf. He almost lines up 3, kills 2, plays the 1v1 perfectly. I mean, it does not get worse.
Yeah,
for Alliance.
The fact that they lined up as well, basically, for his swing was just the beginning of the end, really.
Put that thing away.
Yeah, I don't exactly respect the revolver as a choice. I think it was Bingo that used to use it in Wings Up.
And then he was surprisingly good at it, yeah.
Yep.
Listen, we will allow your choices, we will not respect them. Not when it comes to the R8s.
Yeah, the R8 revolver does have a bug with it, I think, that I've seen recently, where if you spam all the bullets out, reload it while holding certain inputs or something, you can actually just get rid of the whole wind up to shoot thing.
Okay.
Which is a bug that has happened with the gun before. That's the only way that I think you make that gun good. But if he wasn't doing that, then what are we doing? Just use the deagle.
It's an aggressive push coming out from the international side to try and contest. Late lower tunnels player. It's forward and he's traded immediately. Gravity elsewhere, 2-1. Jugas hoping to push through, and well, he pushes to his death, but at the very least, most of his teammates have performed the heavy lifting. Yikes.
That's a very big kill, though, from Upe. I mean, getting through that smoke and dealing with Symmetry, even the follow-up is fantastic. Gravity will try his best to actually hound this player down. He wants to be able to deal with him just because he still knows about his presence, but Upe is actually... How has he won every single one of those duels? I mean, from the first fight, he was 20 health. He has no business getting more.
That's payback for the pistols. That really does feel like it.
That feels fair.
Even the first kill didn't feel like he had any business getting. He was coming out of the smoke. Well, Upe might have given Alliance a chance for here with those. It didn't feel like they had a real way to win the round. He threaded the needle.
This AWP of Symmetry, I imagine this round is going to be quite difficult to pull together. Gravity presence on short has taken a lot of damage.
Good smoke. That smoke is bad. Boy's gonna end up falling because that isn't the full tower. Mateos has a surprisingly large amount of control because now you can see this map is split up for Alliance as long as they can't make this cross happen. Mateos looks like he won't be able to take down Avid, so Avid at the very least can reclaim a little bit more ground, sends out a mid to be smoke. Now Alliance get to play.
They're kind of running a lurk smoke at the end of B, but it doesn't actually make its way down the steps either, so far from ideal. Lupe is making think some noise on the retreat and just holding to see if Demon would be in hot pursuit. So back to a 4-on-4, and Ube's doing some great work in these fights over at the Longhouse.
Yeah.
Really keeping ex-NAVI Jr. guessing.
Symmetry has taken on the responsibility of the A-bomb site all on his shoulders. There are 20 seconds left now. Gravity's demise means it's a 2 versus 3 on the B site. Uber will not be nearby. That is the only consolation that the ex-NAVI camp has. The lineup is almost there, but it's Era, in fact, who takes advantage of it. Symmetry makes his way over as well. It's Jugas to take the kill, but really it's Judas who gives them this round. Era, that bad, really ruining Alliance's opportunities.
Yeah, that is a shame, and you know, with the way that Upe was actually just running out on this lurk to have a kill at long, a kill on the mid rotate, they had the 2 players that they knew were likely to be there on that B site, and they just run into a meat grinder. The fact that Era finishes the job on his teammate, yeah, definitely didn't help.
Well, Demon's now pushed all the way through, and Upe, that little menace that he was, has been dealt with.
If they can't actually beat him on the long fight, make sure he just doesn't get to the long house.
Easy, right? It is a sustainable solution or something, I don't know, man.
Ahead of the problem.
Yeah, well, right now the problem is that they might be able to knock it down. Gravity doubling up. We will be able to spot out just a glimpse of Era before the smoke reassembles. And Twist just doesn't have a chance here. 5 alive, 11-6, no money for this T side.
Yeah, I do love as well that Gravity knows that he's so close with that A1S that he can just effectively run and gun and make it so difficult for that AK to deal with it. You know, the SMGs are annoying because they can run and shoot with great accuracy, but at that range, the A1S is pretty much as accurate, and you know, made himself a hard target to hit. Ex-NAVI Jr. Alright, you know, you're kind of outlined it correctly. The idea that from here on out, ex-NAVI Jr. are not only favorites to win, but win this round, and it's basically a done deal. The Force Buy of Alliance has to pull through in one of the next 2 if they want to keep their head above water.
And we have seen a lot of force by victories today, but it feels like, you know, the way things are going, trying to find out towards long, you have to get the kill under Demon immediately, get a very fast cross out over, so you have an isolated fight with Symmetry, but Demon, that smoke just helps him out. He's got an M4A1, he can shoot right through it. And he's even finding more. He's looking for that flashbang. He'll find another headshot. Then look at the support. It just keeps on coming. And guess what? He's not just got 1 weapon. He's got 2.
Oh my goodness. The flash timing, the spray control from Demon on display in so many of these rounds has actually been immaculate. But you just see how in tune they are with each other about what they want. They know that the smoke has breached into the corner. They have this flash lined up after Demon's able to not only fire off all 20, but and get a reload. You know, it just feels like the timings line up so nicely for ex-NAVI Jr. so frequently. Gotta do a lot with less than they'd want.
Feels like Alliance's elimination is nigh. Symmetry being gifted a free kill on probably the most important D-side piece in Alliance's successes so far. Gravity is a worthy trade, but the bomb is very far out of their reach. They'll have to send a player back for that. It's only Abbott who feels he can go to pick it up. So they might end up being resigned to the fate of She's still watching out. He'll miss a chance to find the man who's trying to recover a Galil.
They at least push Symmetry back. I mean, doesn't maintain control of those long doors. Can't guarantee that there's effectively no presence outside of A. Mateus as well is also trying to run some interference, but has a player right behind him that can hold a tighter line. He's actually moving forward, and the instant reaction. I mean, Era had the heads up in that duel. Mateus reacts so much quicker. Boy tries his best for the trade, and he will take some damage. He will find it. 3-on-3 and a 1-on-3 here for Jukin in the B site, and the spray is nice, but not for the second. It gets a bit unwildly. But these players are walking wounded here on Alliance. They still need to breach in and plant that bomb, and they just won't be given the space. They won't be given the time to do so. Avid run down, and it's Demon with another multi-kill. Ex-NAVI Jr. sealing it in 2 versus Alliance. They will progress into that double elimination bracket, while Alliance are out of contention.
God, just the mechanics on this team are insane. Even Mateus in the end over there, you could see on Dust2 feeling so much more comfortable.